Yeah.
Speaking of book adaptations, Sean,
Mm.
did you watch episode? Was it 4
Of House
of the Dragon?
Yes.
Jeez.
My
Ooh.
God. My God. So much happened. Where do we start?
Man.
Can I start off with a negative?
Oh, go on. Too much happened.
No, not too much happened. But
Is it Aemond, the guy with one eye?
no, it's not even about the story.
He angers me as well.
It's not about the story. It's I don't know. I thought the CGI on the dragons was incredible.
Yeah.
But
And
some
the actual flight scenes were
but
good.
some background, like landscaping, I could just tell it was like very shoddy CGI.
How far has TV come, Sean?
No, I
How
appreciate that.
far?
I appreciate
5 years ago,
I appreciate
even
that.
when Game of Thrones was
I
on,
think Game of Thrones
to see something of that spectacle.
But I think Game of Thrones, the later seasons, did those landscaping and those castle shots far more realistically than House of Dragon have done it so far.
Yeah, perhaps, but I think it was probably...
It's very
it
nitpick,
was
by the
probably,
way. Very nitpick.
It's probably
not negative,
if you're
really.
thinking of like King's Landing and stuff, if you see them, if episode 1 of series 1 of House of the Dragon, if you see the shot where she's like flying over King's Landing, it's absolutely insane. And I think it's probably because they've modelled that setting far more because it's more common in the show.
I guess so.
This one we probably don't even get back to, so
Yeah.
it was less of an important thing to perfect it in that sense. But
where do we start with this episode?
I think
where did
we
it
have to start at the end. Spoiler
Do we?
alert.
Do we? Do
I
we?
think we do. I think we do.
But what happened at the beginning? I can't even remember.
Well, that's the thing, isn't it?
Yeah.
You've got Rhaenyra's missing from King's Landing, and you've got I think Daemon waking up from this kind of fever dream again.
He keeps having these dreams.
Yeah, and there's the mysterious,
which are eerie, by the way.
mysterious woman.
Witch.
Yeah, she's called Alice Rivers, and we don't know. They call her a witch, don't they? But it's something to do with those weirwood trees that were in.
But is she
previous
real?
seasons of Game of Thrones? Yeah.
Is she?
Yeah.
Because when he took a sip of that drink, he was just there at the table.
It's quite
So I was
weird,
a bit
isn't
like,
it? He's
what?
trying to get support for Rhaenyra, but he's running into lots of stumbling blocks, isn't he? So he's kind of stuck there. And I don't like those sorts of character arcs where for half a season they're off on almost like a side quest stuck in another place. It's a bit annoying, isn't it? Because he's such a great character. But meanwhile, you've got like Alicent trying to control Aegon, the king, and he feels like he's not listened to.
Yeah,
but she's a terrible mother.
That's interesting, and because Alicent had that conversation, it was quite a brutal conversation, saying you know nothing, you haven't got wisdom. Just because you wear the crown doesn't mean you have wisdom.
Yeah.
Listen to your peers, which is good advice, by the way. Brilliant advice. Maybe the delivery was a bit too harsh, and because then he says, "Well, what do I do?" And she goes, "You basically shut the fuck up." And that.
But then that's what
edge.
spurs him on to. He wants to do something. He wants to go out there.
He wants to be known to be
hero
at least
king,
brave and a hero. And I love his character, by the way. I really feel for him.
I actually thought he didn't have hardly anything to do, and I didn't rate him that much in the first season. But he's really performed well, I think, in this one.
He's a very complex character.
Yeah,
he's a very.
You almost pity him, don't you?
Yeah.
Do you know why? There was some great parallels between Rhaenyra and Alicent, right? The one was in the previous episode when Alicent was comforting Aegon because Rhaenyra was comforting her son. They call him Jace, but he's called Jacaerys, isn't he? Because the younger brother died, and he was like crying to her, and she was hugging him. But when Alicent walked into the room and saw Aegon crying over his son, she walked out of the room. And then the other one was
interesting.
The other one was Rhaenyra in season 1 took that potion, the abortion drink. To get rid of after she'd been with Kristen
and didn't
Cole.
Alicent have an
Alicent
issue with
had
that?
a massive thing with her.
Yeah.
And now she's done not just exactly the same thing, but with exactly the same person as well. So it's like hypocrisy, isn't it? So I think
that's interesting. I didn't think about that.
Her character actually subtly is way worse than people. I know people think she's a terrible character.
Apparently in the books she's not as bad. They've actually made her out to be even worse because they want this parallel battle between good versus evil, essentially.
Yeah.
So they've made her worse, but I've seen complaints about that. And the fact that Alicent isn't she's a bit more complex.
Like I said, the book's from 2 opposing accounts, isn't it? So some of them are.
Is it up for interpretation? So you can't really blame or complain about the show because they're doing their own thing. And
we also had
need to be tied to the
intriguing things where you're starting to get secondary characters come in. Like they're called Adam and Alan, the two black shipyard workers.
Yeah,
that it did get subtly revealed. About their background. Did you spot what it was?
Was it that he might be the bastard child of the king? Well, not the king, but the Lord.
Corlys Velaryon. Yeah, the what do they call him? The Lord of the Tides.
The Lord of the Tides.
Yeah. So that's
he was the one, and it seems like he knows it as well.
Yeah, and well,
they both know it.
I don't know if they do or not, but it was brutal that Rhaenys found out that, and then just like went and got absolutely crushed. Yeah. What did you think of Aemond in this one?
So he basically went and did not give two flying fucks about killing his brother.
Yeah, well, he looked up and saw the other dragon and he was really annoyed, wasn't he?
Yeah.
It kind of ruined his plan.
Yeah.
But he didn't go up straight away.
He waited to see if Aegon would fall.
Yeah.
To her.
But then Aegon was right there and he just let it rip with the blast of fire, didn't he?
And then, not only that, after Sir Criston Cole trudged through the forest.
Got knocked out like a punk.
Yeah, it was walking through the forest towards Aegon. He saw Aemond with his sword.
Yeah. Now, I won't even say a thing, right? I won't even hint.
Okay.
But it was pretty open-ended, or it was.
Well, I couldn't really see.
There weren't answers in the end of the episode.
Yeah,
so what do you think?
He fell to his knees, Criston Cole. I don't think he's dead. Aegon's dead because I think I saw him like struggling in some sort of way. I think he might just be like a broken back and he's crippled. I think that would be very interesting because he would have so much anger,
and it would be even worse.
And he would have no way in expressing that anger because he's crippled. And I think his brother, Aemon, would have a field day with that because now he can be an active participant, and Aegon, who nobody listens to anyway, is falling even further.
It's quite a cool character because normally all the kings in Game of Thrones have been authoritative or powerful, apart from that Joffrey's brother one. But but he can't do anything. Nobody cares about him. He's the most powerful person.
And the one thing that he thought he could do, which was act, failed, and now he's back to not being listened to. Can't even move.
I did
potentially.
Yeah,
I don't know.
To take it to the end then with that. Well, just before the end with that actual battle and how she sacrificed herself. She could have escaped
twice.
Yeah,
she was thinking about doing it twice.
But I think she had that speech to Rhaenyra in the previous episode, didn't she? About how nobody remembers the first punch in the fight or something like that. Nobody will know what
started the war.
Yeah, so I think she knew eventually where it would end anyway. But I can't wait for everyone else to see if hopefully we see the others' reactions to her death.
To her death, yeah. I thought it was good though, her death. I think she couldn't really add much more to the story.
Do you know my favourite bit of the episode actually?
What?
When the two dragons were fighting, there was a lord on the battlements, and you just saw like the wing of Vhagar, the massive dragon, slowly coming over, like it's some kind of shark or something. Oh my
god,
that was nuts.
I liked it when Rhaegar and the dragon, the other dragon, I can't remember the name, but landed on the ground, and it's just like the wings flying and everyone's screaming and running.
Oh, people were getting crushed.
Yeah.
I also love it because
insane.
It's not even close to some of the stuff that happens.
What
later on in the book.
Hasn't even gotten going yet.
Well, I'd say this is like the start of where it starts kicking off. But so much more happens. Like,
well, but
it'll probably be 5 seasons, like I said.
Well, when this episode started, I was thinking they need a battle. They need a battle because it's not like I wasn't losing interest, but I remember Game of Thrones had epic battles.
Game of Thrones season 1 didn't have a single battle.
No, but neither did. Well, I guess House of the Dragon season 1? It kind of in the
Stepstones.
The Stepstones, but it wasn't like a spectacle. It was like basically just Daemon just running through a load of dead bodies. But I thought they needed something. Yes, it's another dragon battle, and we've had that already. And by the way, Rhaegar
the
got
first
her
one wasn't even a battle, was it?
Rhaegar got her exactly the way that he got the other guy. Just came out of nowhere and bit the neck of the dragon. So I was a bit like,
oh, what? The Vhagar, the big dragon?
Yeah, Vhagar.
Yeah, but that's what it does because it's a massive blooming dragon.
How does it disappear and just nobody knows? It's the biggest dragon living, and it just disappears and nobody knows where it is. Like, come on.
Oh man, I can't wait. There's one, I can't say what it is, but there's one thing I cannot wait to see on the screen, man.
Well, don't say. But
basically what happens is
I do want to see a foot battle though. I know there's loads of dragons and it's easy to use dragons in this world, in this scenario, but I want to see like a Battle of the Bastards episode, man.
That was iconic, wasn't it?
It was.
I think there'll be some.
Yeah. But yeah, I did enjoy it, and I thought the last episode before this was a little bit lackluster.
There's always going to be quiet after the storm episodes, though, isn't there?
Yeah.
But yeah, I'll roll on the next episode, man. Yeah. I can't wait.